Both the candidates stuck strictly to the issues in last night's debate, which is one thing we're going to talk about in just a minute. Joining us now, we have Professor John Baick, and thank you so much you were on the show just a couple of days ago. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you.
I saw you at the debate last night.
Yes, along with 2,599 more people, I guess.
Unbelievable how many people, and outside as well. It was quite the scene. Now, last night, who do you think was the victor in that debate? Because it's not like you're looking at Mitt Romney and Obama where it was like, yes. Last night was definitely different. Who do you think came out the victor?
I think for a lot of people it depended upon the candidate they were supporting going into the debate. I think, though, for some undecideds, for those who haven't perhaps been watching the race very carefully, Professor Warren won the debate by a very small margin. It was extra innings. It wasn't a dramatic home run. It was maybe a sacrifice fly or a single. But she won by a small bit because she was more consistent with her message. Yeah,
I was going to say, what do you think that's what really gave her the edge over Senator Brown?
Yes, I mean, a professor's job is to make simple things complicated, which we lose people with. She made a complicated issue simple. She stuck to her issues over and over again. And Senator Brown, who usually is quite good at sticking to the simple points, really mentioned so very many things. He had a laundry list in a lot of his answers last night.
Yeah, and the other thing was that we were talking about the tone of last night's debate. On the first two debates, it was pretty heated between the two candidates almost. And last night it seemed a little more subdued. It seemed a little more focused. Could you talk about that?
I think two things account for that. I think, one, that the Springfield Consortium and the debate moderator, Jim Madigan, deserve enormous credit. They set the ground rules. They controlled a pretty raucous crowd. And Jim Madigan, in particular, really controlled the answers and gave each person the same amount of time. When it comes also down to this race, the negatives for both candidates are coming up. The latest Western New England University poll showed that this race was becoming too negative, too toxic for Massachusetts. I think both campaigns are pulling back slightly on this negative image, trying to stick more to issues, launching attacks, but more substantive rather than personal.
Yeah, and these attacks, which obviously can be come back with some blowback for both of the candidates. In terms of tonight, so the vice presidential debate with Paul Ryan and Vice President Joe Biden, what do you think that they're really going to be trying to get across tonight, their primary focus?
Well, it's interesting. Usually vice presidential debates really don't matter. There have been some memorable exchanges in the past, but they rarely change the direction of the race. I think tonight's going to be very important, potentially, for both Democrats and Republicans. If Paul Ryan wins tonight, there's a perception that he wins. This could badly damage the Obama administration's chances of being reelected. If Vice President Biden makes that connection, the connection that he's sometimes famous for, the ability to connect viscerally, I think the Obama administration staunches the bleeding from the last week. If Joe Biden comes across as that uncle you are seeking advice from, the Obama administration's in good shape. If he's the uncle you're embarrassed by at Thanksgiving, then the Romney campaign is in good shape.
Yeah, you're going into my next question really quickly. That's a big concern with a lot of Democrats is Vice President Joe Biden's off-the-cuff comments. You think that that's something that they should be concerned about to possibly hurt him in the debates?
It's a concern, but I think at this point they're really looking at Joe Biden as a firewall. This wasn't supposed to be an important debate. If last week's debate had turned out the way people expected, basically a tie between Governor Romney and President Obama, tonight's debate really wouldn't matter. It matters a great deal because the Romney campaign is surging in all the polls, and there's a perception that the Romney campaign brings energy and ideas. It's up to Joe Biden to say that the Romney campaign contains too many contradictions for the American people to trust.
All right. Professor Baick, thank you so much for joining us on the show and giving us your take on the debate and joining us so early in the morning after being at the debate last night. All right.